This is Karl Moore talking management for the Globe and Mail. Today I'm delighted to speak to Thomas Hellwig, who's a professor of leadership at INSEAD, one of the world's top business schools. Good afternoon, Thomas.
Good afternoon, Karl. Thanks for inviting me for this interview.
Thomas, you've been looking at transformational leadership in a very interesting context, the Singapore prison service. What have you learned about transformation?
Yes, it's true. We looked together with Professor Katz de Vries into an organizational change story, which is probably the most unusual place I've ever looked at change management, the Singapore Prison Service. Now, some managers watching this video might say, what can I learn from prison? Because me as a scholar, as a leadership professor, I also looked at this and saying, well, this is probably the most unlikely place where I could look for change, business excellence, and some sort of form of modern management. But I was proven wrong, because not only I found what is in Singapore pretty common, like very determined people and following some sort of chosen direction, I found also a story of shared leadership. I found a story of a story almost like a fairy tale that has not involved just the prison service or the people around that, but also took a dimension of the whole society of Singapore. Just to give you one figure, the whole sort of campaign of captains of lives is what they put now up. And Singapore Prison Service, considered beforehand the dullest place to work, is now, for the third time in a row, considered among the top 10 most wanted employers in Singapore. This is already something to chew on, but not only that, if you take it from a marketing perspective, they have run a charity campaign like having some sort of support in the community called the Yellow Ribbon Project. And the Yellow Ribbon Project has got an awareness among Singaporeans with the tagline, "Give prisoners a second chance," which is about 80 to 90%, considered as 80 to 90%. Any business person I talk to, when I quote these figures, they look at me like this cannot be true.
That's astonishing, because in North America, to work for the prison service is not seen as something you want to do necessarily. So this is really quite astonishing. What are the few key ideas you learned about corporate transformation from studying the prison service?
I think the most astonishing and surprising fact I found is a message that the prison director, who is probably the one who initiated this change process, has shared with me. He said one simple line is, faith is the mother of everything. If you have the faith and stick to your vision, to the ideas you initially envision, if you involve the people while doing that, and if you carry on despite the resistance that you find on the way, faith can create passion, and passion can lead to action. And that sort of action scales up to the whole organization and yet a nation, as in the case of Singapore.